Boom. Oh, there's a lot. Brian's up in here. I got Eric Davis, Chase. So what's going down? Monroe. Everything is good. Had a crazy few days. Hold on, I want to pull up something because I remember making a note. Just don't want to miss it. Where did I write that at? Okay, there, I got it. I found it. But what up, man? I hope everybody's doing good. Sorry for the crazy delays. Just kind of fill all you guys in and why we are doing moto. Big Feist is in here. You got nothing else to do, huh? Come hang out on the live chat. We got Ryan Day. What up, what up? I'm not going to do, I know how I always, everybody in here has been in here week after week, so I know all you guys. But I know I've been trying to do the little bumper, but I've been watching some of my playbacks, and the bumper doesn't even keep up with our internet speed for some reason, so I'm not even going to do the bumper. You guys kind of know how we run it. We do the question marks, so we can find, I can find you in amongst the chat, but we'll just jump right in and get started. There's enough guys in here. We'll keep it flowing. You know, talk about, kind of give you guys a little update why we're doing this on a Wednesday night, just kind of what was going down last couple of days, and then we'll jump in. Whatever you guys want to talk about. You know how, like I said, all you guys have been here before. I recognize everybody that's in here, so you know how we do it, and we'll start going through the questions. But for the sake of, I'm going to start cutting these right here. So for the sake of the quick edit, what's up? I'm Ronnie Faisst, and welcome to Moto Monday here on a Wednesday night because we had a crazy week, but we're getting back after it. Wanted to make sure I could link up with you guys this week. So thank everybody for being in the chat room. You know how we do it. We get together on Monday nights, talk about moto, talk about training, talk about bike setups, answer any questions that I can just to help give the best advice as I can. Advice with Feist. That's how we do it. And we throw the question marks up. So if you have a question, if you're new in here, somebody jumps in, you've never been here before, just throw some question marks after your question. So as I'm scrolling through all the feed and the comments, I can find you guys' question. And I try to just scroll to the top and start and make sure I try not to miss anybody, make sure I answer everybody that's in here. But we do this every Monday night. All right, so let's just talk about why it's Wednesday and we're doing Moto Monday. Out here in the Midwest, brand new track opened up. Man, my mouth's dry. I know Mel's watching. Can you bring me up a drink, wifey, please? Mouth is dry. I just came from outside, took a quick shower, working all day. Here we go. So, brand new track opened up here in the Midwest called Grain Valley. So they actually were going to open up last week, and it got rained out. And then they bumped it to this week, and of course it was on a Monday night. And I've been out there actually. I've been there like 3 times before, and I've never got to ride it. So this Monday's the first time I got to ride it, and I've been talking with the track owners about doing a school there. So I've been out there scouting it, and I'm like, man, this place looks good. It actually reminds me of this track that I grew up racing on called Raceway Park back in New Jersey. And the reason why is because it has really dark dirt, but they mix like a ton of wood chips into it. And it almost has the same texture, almost the same smell. Like I was out there, I was like, man, it smells like Raceway. But it gets super ruddy, just like Raceway Park used to. So it's soft, too. It has a little bit soft fluff to it. They just rip it really well. So I actually was kind of pumped to actually finally get out there and ride. So that's where I was on Monday, is because I originally thought they were going to do it on Tuesday, because last week was Tuesday, boom, it rained. Then they put it on Monday, and I'm like, shoot, that's Monday moto night. But I wanted to go test it out, and I wanted to talk to the owners about doing a class out there. So got to go ride and did 3 motos. It was hot. It was humid, but it was fun, and it got really ruddy. There was, man, it was packed. I think everybody that probably is into the moto scene out here, most likely, if they didn't have something to do, they were there. It was a lot of people there. I think they said there was over 100 riders there. I know when I pulled, they have like this little tunnel you roll through to get to the starting gate, and when I came out, the whole entire thing was packed. Like they ran A class and B class together. And it was like, as far as I looked down the line, I'm like, dude, this is going to be a busy practice. There's a lot of guys out there. But had a lot of fun. And just as I was leaving, and obviously I met, there's 3 different track owners, and I only met 2 of them up until Benny Blose's dad is the third track owner, and I got to meet him out there. Super cool dude, lives right up the street. And then just as I was leaving, I got the green light from those guys. Said, hey, you're more than welcome to do your next 2 RFMX classes here. So I was super pumped. So the August, so actually we got one this weekend, so that one's not going to be there. Ooh. So obviously this Saturday is going to be in the Basor, I always say it wrong, Basor track, the same track we've been doing at small private track. So that'll be this weekend, this Saturday. And then so it is, what is it, August 25th? Man, and then September 19th, I believe. I believe it's August 25th. No, sorry, August 22nd, September 15th. Both of those will be at Grain Valley. The September class, or the August class already full, and then we just posted it right before I jumped on the live, and so it's live right now. There's only 4 spots left because someone already signed up. So you got 4 spots left. Only take 5 for the day, 5-hour class, 5 riders for a day. I'm going to work on all the fundamentals, all the basics. Work on body position, clutch, throttle control. See how good of a wife I got? I knew you were watching. My mouth is so dry. I'm like, dude, I didn't bring no water up here.
When you're done talking about your classes, don't forget Brian Sprague, his nephew Jacob. Give him a shout out because he broke his leg.
No, I know. That was what was in my notes.
Okay.
So she just kind of blew what was in my notes.
Well,
I know they heard you. So I'm putting this.
What's going on about your schools?
All right. I'm putting this up on the screen. So, like I was saying, there's 4 spots left. September 19th, the next available RFMX school. Go to Ronnie Faisst MX, and you can get signed up. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? But Grain Valley is super sick, and I'm pumped because I did the first 3 classes at a small private track, and it's still a good track, but it doesn't get super ruddy there. But I've been talking with the track owner there, and we're going to actually, he's getting a different type of ripper, so we can start ripping it to get it a little more ruddy. But Grain Valley, we're not going to have an issue. And I told him partial prep, so we're not going to prep the whole track. I have some 50 riders that I know are coming to the August class, so we're going to clean up where it's super gnarly, but we're going to leave a lot of the ruts. I want race conditions. I want you guys to come out there and ride and be in what it's like on the weekends. Tracks are not going to be all prepped when you go out there and race on the weekends. You're going to be in the ruts, you're going to be in the bumps. So I want to do the class like that. So we'll do a partial prep, water, and then leave a lot of the ruts and the bumps to keep it fun and challenging for you guys. So if you're looking to get signed up, jump on it quick because, like I said, only 4 spots to go. So that's why I wasn't here on Monday, because I wanted to really go ride that track and kind of scout it and see how I would break it down. I know exactly how I want to run the class that day. It's going to work out perfect. And then yesterday, because I was like, oh, yeah, when I was at the track, I was like doing posts, like, I'll just do it tomorrow night. And then yesterday, we are in the process of switching the RFMX merch to running it right here at the house. So we've had a fulfillment company taking care of all of our orders, and we decided, like, hey, once we started, we're like, hey, man, we really don't have the control and the ability to do some of the things we want. Like, we're in some of the orders, some people get their stuff fast, and some people get their stuff slow, and a lot had to do with COVID, but things are getting back to normal, and if we're able to do it ourselves, we will have the product right on hand. We can, boom, ship it out. We can do more giveaways. We can do sales. One of the things is we weren't able to, like, if Father's Day was coming, 4th of July, we can't be like, hey, 4th of July sale, and then you get your product 3-4 weeks later. So we were like, man, we can't do a lot of the cool stuff we want to do. So we're going to make some changes to RFMX. So that's what we were doing yesterday. We were running around, we were changing. So we're going to run it out of our basement right at our house, and we were getting racks, getting all that set up. And I had all the racks in the back of the truck and to store all the product, and there was this huge storm coming, and I'm like, dude, I got to get all these racks out so I can get rained on and rusted and get them out. So I was like rushing to get all that done, and I was soaking wet. You guys know how the Midwest is. It's super hot and humid right now. Get them inside, and I seriously finished it just as the rain started and it poured, and so got that done. But that's the reason why I backed out yesterday, because I was like beat from trying to get all that switched over. So we'll be doing that in the next weeks to come, of getting all new product. We're going to be upgrading everything. We're going to get better. We want to make everything better. End of the day, like, we care about the people that support us, so we want our products to be top of the line products. We want good customer service, which we do our own customer service, so we think we do a good job of that. But we want good turnaround time. We're going to upgrade on our hoodies. We're going to heavyweight hoodies. We've been on a lightweight hoodie. We're going to be able to get... So now we'll be able to pick what we want. When the fulfillment company we're doing it with, we're limited to what we could use as far as printing and as far as what to print on. But now we're going to take it over and say, hey, we're going to print on what we want. And so obviously been talking to Deegan, been talking to Twitch, talked to all my guys that are already doing, say, hey, what are you guys printing on? Be running all the same stuff you get from DBK and Deegan 38. So super excited to make RFMX more personal, more better, and right here from the home, and be able to, people always are like, hey, can you sign my shirt? I get those DMs all the time, and I'm like, actually I can't, because I don't send your shirt out, I don't see it. But I'll be able to do that, and I want to do giveaways here. Like, I wish if I had product downstairs, I could bring up some stuff and we could figure out a way to do a cool giveaway tonight. But I don't have product on hand because I don't have that ability at the moment. But we'll be doing that. So prepare for some giveaways to all the people that are here on Monday nights that support this channel and support Moto Mondays. We'll be hooking you guys up with some free merch. So, all right. So that's the whole reason why we're on Wednesday night. Just crazy week trying to get everything done. But yeah, let's jump in. I'll start at the top. Oh yeah, let me give a shout out. I put it in my phone. It's Jacob. So Brian, first, if you guys can see all his, I'm gonna just put his name up right here. So Brian's good. One of my buddies that lives out here. Met him at the track. So he just says, "What up on Wednesday?" Yeah, I was like, "Should we call?" Eric was like, "Call it Whip It Wednesday tonight." And I'm like, "Huh." But it was your nephew, right? And I know his name's Jacob. I believe he got hurt motoing like a week ago, or a week or two ago, and he broke his leg. So we just wanted to give a shout out to Jacob. Say, hey, dude, hey, part of the game. Just know you're not the only one who's crashed and broke a bone. Everyone goes down. Everyone breaks bones. Part of moto. So I believe you're going to heal up 100%, get back on your bike, do what you love, and do everything the doctor says. Like, I know a lot of moto guys like to skip and come back early. I've seen more people try to come back early and stay out longer. So, hey, take your time, heal up, do all your therapy, do everything your doctor say, and come back 100%, and then work your way back up and build your confidence back. But we're praying for you, bro. Jacob, praying for a full healing, and hope you are back doing what you love sooner than you think. The body will heal, though. I promise you that. What I've learned through my career through injury is the body heals. It's right here that it's the harder battle. It's to gain the confidence, to gain the trust in yourself and your bike and your abilities. And you wrestle, you get hurt. It can, you get a little hesitant, like, oh, I don't want to crash again. I want to get hurt again. So your body will heal. Like, every injury that I've had, yes, I have aches in the morning, but I'm healed. I could probably get on my bike and do every trick that I ever could do physically. But up here, my mind's like, I don't know if I want to do that anymore, It's the mental game is the real battle in moto for sure. So be strong in the mind, dude. Believe in yourself and believe in your skills and work hard and build that confidence. All right, so we're going to jump down to, we got Eric Davis. So, oh wait, why didn't it pop up? All right, so this is my buddy, Eric Davis. He's always shooting the RFMX Mexico. So he's out in Colorado right now. He says, what's up, big bro? Missing you, Mel and Mally. Yo, so Mally got sick today. So, dude, like, I don't even want to get into all the details. But even though there's all this stuff going on, life's been crazy. When everything just goes nuts? That's how our last 2 days have been. Me and Mel have had it crazy. Our dog was, like, thrown up all morning. There was 100 other things. I was on I'm not a phone guy, but I was on the phone all day dealing with the other things that we have going on. That's how life's been like that. But Mally is actually coming back to life. She's been sick all day, thrown up. And it was crazy. She threw up all this, like a whole wad of plastic, sticks, pens, like pieces of, I don't know where she found pens, but she must just eat junk, plastic and sticks and stones and plastic, and then just store it. And it's finally... Lucky she got sick somehow and it got it out of her. So she threw up all that junk that was probably inside of her that she couldn't pass. All right, so we got Ring Ding Dong, Monroe. Only the old schoolers know what that means. Ring Ding Dong, that's an old video. All right, so here we got Brian again. All right, so I talked a little bit about, we'll pop him back up. He said, how do you like Grain Valley on Monday? And I was liking, like I said, it reminded me of Raceway Park, a motor track that I grew up racing on. So I really liked it. But I just thought, like, you got to remember, I went out there 3 times before it opened. So the first day I went, it was 4 foot of weeds, and, like, it's in a floodplain. So it was like it just had rained, and the water must have just they said it, like, can flood out completely sometimes. It must have just settled. You couldn't even walk on it. It was so soft that I was like walking out there and like getting all muddy, and I'm like, man, I don't even know if the 50s could make it out here. So I was kind of hesitant at first, but that was my first impression. And it wasn't all pretty like it is now. So then the second time I went, looked a little bit better, and they're building this tunnel, like I said, to pull around the start. But there was all these, there's no fence. There was like all these, they were like telephone poles piled up. It just didn't look pretty. And then I rode up there yesterday, and it looked like a full-on like professional public moto track. Like, it was all pretty. There was no weeds. The track was all groomed and watered and laid out. It had new fencing. They had that cool tunnel that pulls around and starts. And they, like, the way the start comes, it just looks cool. The start's kind of coming at you. It's got like this, I think the gate was red, so it had this pretty red gate against these green trees. Got banners up. So I was like, dude, this place just looks sweet. And then at the end of the day, it's a fun track. Nothing super, like, none of the jumps are super big. Like, all the jumps are pretty simple. But it has this cool dragon back section. So if you come over the finish line, it's like a tabletop with a step down. And then you can triple and then kind of wheelie 2 bumps and then triple off. And then it kind of goes into another tabletop and this big sweeper. So that little dragon back's kind of fun. And then they have a really cool set of rollers kind of along the back section. So you kind of come over this tabletop, and then there's just a big set of rollers. But you can go 3, and then just kind of wheelie the rest. And that straightaway kind of like hooks to the left, and it just like goes way down. And then the rut, like this rut that was, I actually crashed in it. I fell over, and I'll probably post my GoPro video of me squirreling out, crashing in the rut. But this rut got so deep. It was seriously deep, and it went way out. But it got so deep, it like almost went down to where it was on like super hard pack. So you had like all soft, ruddy, choppy stuff, but then it went so low, it was on like wet hard pack that was moist. So it was like ice. And I just hit it. I kind of lost the front end, ended up crashing. This dude on the fence was like cheering me on, laughing at me. But track is good, dude. If you haven't been there, I know Brian will probably go out there and rip it. I'll probably see you out there. But if you're in the area, go check it out. And like I said, if you want to come to a class, I'll be doing the next 2 classes out there. Definitely. And like I said, or like they were telling me, they said their plans is to continue to improve it. So just know it's good now, and they want to continue to grow it. So I'm sure the rhythm sections, the dragon back, the jumps, all that stuff, like, because the layout's there, and it's ruddy and rough no matter what. It's gonna, just the way the dirt is. So I'm sure all those obstacles are just gonna get better. So I'm looking forward to doing classes out there, just riding out there for fun, and just kind of seeing how they grow that track. I think it's gonna be one of the top tracks around here. So, all right, Chase says, should a 11 yo be doing 1 minute 40-second lap times on an 85 engine work? Been riding 1 year. Wait. So, 11-year-old. I'm getting it now. I said 11 yo. Help me, Lord. Should an 11-year-old be doing 1 minute 45-second lap times on an 85 engine that's worked? Been riding in 1 year. It's hard for me to answer that question because I don't know what the track looks like. Like, how big's the track? I don't know if a minute 45 is fast on an 85 with a worked engine who's been riding a year, depending on the track. So that's a hard question to ask because I just don't know what the track looks like and how big it is, how long it is, how rough it is. I don't know. So I don't know if I can give you a good answer, dude. Yeah, I don't know, bro. Post a video of him ripping. I'll be able to tell you how he looks. DM me with a video, Chase. Well, let me check him out. All right, so let's keep scrolling here. We got Eric Davis. Let's get Eric up here again. He says, what are your favorite part of photo shoots in general, either with me or the ones through your career? I think what's cool about photo shoots is like the end result. Like, at the end of the day, like, both the photographer and the moto guy or athlete or whatever you want to say wants to get a sick shot. I mean, all athletes, whether you're a skateboarder or surfer or whatever, like, you work together. So I think it's fun when you kind of both get that shot and you look at it, or that video clip or whatever it is, and you're both pumped and you're like, ooh, dude, that one's sick. So I think that's the fun of it. Shooting with different guys is getting the that final, getting the shot that you're pumped to post on all your pages. You're like, dude, this one's sick. So it's just fun. I love shooting, love riding, and whenever you get something cool to post, even better. So All right, so we got V-Dub in the house. Big shout out to V-Dub. Big supporter. All right, so we got Tommy here. He says, would you do a FMX on all electric dirt bikes? So what I personally, probably not, but you obviously can, because when I lived in California, Nate Adams used to come over to my house and ride the electric bike, and he did all his tricks. I seen him do 360s on them, seen him do backflips, backflip no-handers, all his upright tricks, everything. So obviously it's not an issue to ride one. You can do anything you want. As far as freestyle goes, I personally... I like 450, so I'm gonna stick to my 450. But I don't see the electric bike keeping you back from doing anything, because I've seen people do what they do on their 4-strokes and 2-strokes on an electric bike. So I think it's just what you like to be on. All right, so we got Mayo 315. It says, how much stiffer is freestyle setup compared to a Supercross setup? That's another like personal preference. I think. I was like Twitch. Get on Twitch's bike, dude. It's like a freaking like. It's so stiff. It's like I don't like it that stiff, but he does. His bike's crazy stiff, and my bike's stiffer than a Supercross setting, but not as far as where Twitch will bring his bike. So it's more personal preference. I think a Supercross setting is just a great place to start. Like you don't want to ride a stock setting on a ramp or an outdoor setting. You can do it. You can jump the ramp. It's just not as good. You get it if you start with a Supercross setting. It's a great place to start, and then you can probably just get a feel like, okay, do I like it a little bit on a more stiffer side than a Supercross setting, or do I want to even maybe go a little bit softer? Because even like I said, it is like most guys have a stiff setup, but some guys will appreciate a more stiffer bike than other guys. And I was a guy who rode a stiffer bike, because even now. Well, my bike's stock, but when I was getting my stuff done, all my outdoor stuff was always set a little bit on the more stiffer side, just because I liked my freestyle bike so stiff that I got so used to riding a stiff bike that if I got on a soft bike, I was always like, man, this thing feels way too soft. So I always rode a setting on an outdoor setting a little bit stiffer. But now I've been on a stock setup for like 2 years. I've been riding stock suspension. My stuff is bone stock. I probably would like just an outdoor setting and would feel perfect. Because I actually rode Twitch's bike. If you guys been just following what's been going on, I rode Twitch's bike, what was it, 2 weeks ago? And he told me his outdoor setting was too soft, and I thought it was perfect. So, like I said, it's all like rider preference, but freestyle normally is a little bit stiffer than the Supercross stuff. And mainly in the forks. The shock's almost really similar. It's the forks where you'll find the compression a little bit on the stiffer side. All right, so we got Brian here. What's a good shop? All right, so suspension. He says, so what's a good shop? Now I'm thinking you're asking. So this is Brian. I always had, so majority of my career I had RG3, and then right at the end I had WP. So I only rode with those two companies. My entire career, most of it was RG3. My setting was good. Twitch, Taka, Nate were all Enzo guys. I'm trying to think who Deegan used. I know right now he's using a guy. So I don't know I wouldn't take yourself to a dirt bike shop. If you're gonna get your suspension done, I would take it to a suspension guy. Like send it to Enzo or send it to RG3 or send it to WP, or I'm trying to think of the dude that Deegan uses. He did my suspension for Winter X Games when I raced that snow bike, and I can't remember his name right now. I bet if you go to Deegan's page and look at his sticker on his fork, you'll see the dude's name. But he specializes in a lot of WP stuff, but he has his own company. And that's kind of how I got hooked up with him, because I was riding a Husqvarna in 2016, and he was kind of connected with WP, and I was going to Aspen, and he was in Minnesota. So he kind of got my bike ready for that event. And I would recommend him because obviously Deegan's using his stuff, so Deegan's really picky about his bike, and he doesn't have a problem with it. I just cannot remember the guy's name, and he was super nice and cool to me. So forgive me, bro, I forgot your name. But yeah, look it up on Deegan's bike. Other than that, I would always say, like, dude, I think if you go with like someone like PC, just go with a company that does good stuff. And like I said, I don't recommend taking down the local shop and asking the local shop to revalve your stuff. Get it to like someone who specializes in revalving, and go that direction. All right, so Mel's on here. I'm just kind of scrolling, looking at some of the. All right, so we got. All right, so we got Danny B. All right, he says, can you talk about shifting without using the clutch? Do you recommend it? When is it okay? When is it not okay? Yeah, man, that's actually a really good question. That's cool. So, I mean, really, you can shift with the clutch without the clutch all the time. Like, obviously, as soon as you leave the gate, and that first initial thing, you can shift up as much as you want without the clutch. It's not going to necessarily hurt the bike. I would think I would have to really pay attention to see if I do pull it every single time when I'm doing a whole shot. But I know, like, if I'm downshifting into the turn, I never, if I'm going in the corner and braking and trying to slow down and downshift, I never pull in the clutch, because actually, if you're going into a corner and you're trying to slow down, do not pull in the clutch. The clutch engages and lets the bike roll faster. If you leave the clutch out, it allows the gearbox, we call it an engine brake, to slow you down. So don't just downshift, use both of your brakes and lose the motor to slow you down. So don't pull in your clutch at all when you're going into corners. So, man, honestly, like, it's not going to hurt the bike to shift it without the clutch up or down. I would probably, just out of habit, I probably do use it. Like, if I'm shifting down a straightaway, I probably do just pull it in slightly. I'm a one-finger guy, just pull it in just enough to engage it. But even if you did it and you just shift it up, it's the bike will shift. The bike will shift. But I think out of habit, I just probably flick it real quick. But yeah, that was a good question. So I would always recommend, because just say, do you recommend it? So shifting without using the clutch. So I would say I would always recommend downshifting without the clutch. And then upshifting, I wouldn't say always do it. I would say I would have to actually just think about, am I really pulling my clutch in every single time? And I think out of habit I might be. So I would say it's fine, like, to give it a little flick while you're banging through the gears. And it says, and when is it not okay? When is it not okay to not use the clutch? That's a good one, huh? Let me think about that. When would you want to not pull in the clutch? Or, yeah, the braking, right? That's what I just said. That's when you would not want to pull it in. Yeah, don't pull it in going into starts. It makes you go faster. All right, so V-Dub hitting it up with the super chat. All right, so this is what, and I'm just going to do this. I don't have nothing in here. I'm just doing this because V-Dub is always on here. He gives super chats like every week. He supports all our merch. He buys merch from Mark. He buys merch. So guess what? V-Dub, I'm hooking you up. I'm going to send you a signed pair of spy goggles just for, dude, for $50, bro. Thank you for supporting the page, but I'm hooking you up. You give to me, I'm giving back to the people. This kind of stuff I'm going to do when we start getting more merch to give away, but I don't have any merch, so I'm going to send you a signed pair of goggles. So we talk on, oh wait, let me just read it. Yeah, see, look, love supporting RFMX and Mark. He supports everything. We talk on DM, so, and I probably already have your address because I sent him a Bible, dude. Me and him we talk, so one of the homies. So I'm going to hook you up, bro. So thank you for the super chat. That's really cool. All right, so let's see. Hey, all right, so let's get Jesse up here. All right, says, hey, Ronnie. He says, hello from Wisconsin. So lately I've been riding my dirt bike and getting back into it. Just bought a 2020 Yamaha 450. Do you think it is a good bike and it is big and it is too big a bike to start with? I think it's an awesome bike. I'm a 450 guy, so I love the 450. And I mean, if you have riding experience and you're just getting back into it, I mean, 450s, that's the thing. If you know how to ride a little bit, you can still ride a 450. You don't have to get super aggressive with it, you can lug those things around the track, put it in third gear and just cruise it and just let the thing track everywhere. So I think it's a fine bike to start on. I think for a brand new guy who's never been on a bike, 450 could be a little bit scarier. So sometimes the 250F is a little bit safer bike to start on for someone who doesn't have any experience. But if you got some experience and just getting back in it, just cruise it. Click it a gear up on the wherever you go riding. Just leave it a gear up so it doesn't get super aggressive, and that thing will lug. Ooh, you can let it fall all the way down on its face and roll into it, and it'll still. It's like a tractor. So you can control it. Just be a gear up to not have that super aggressive response until you feel a little bit more comfortable with it. But I think you'll have fun with that 450. I love my 450, and I've tried 250s, I've tried 350s, and I've tried 252 strokes. I've rode everything, and I pick a 450 over anything any day. And I know a lot of people are like, two stroke. I'm like, when are you gonna ride that little thing? It's like a little 80, man. Like, get on a 450. You got some bike under your legs when you get on a 450. Thing's a beast. I like when I get on 252 stroke, I feel like I'm on an 80. It's like, I'm like, where are we? I'm like making a bunch of noise and I'm in one spot. I'm gonna get on 450 and crank it, and the thing's just wheeling. Beast mode. But I'm not clowning you guys who like 252 strokes. If that's what you like, that's what you like. I'm just saying, 450 is way funner for me. All right, so we got Blake here. Taka's a 252 stroke guy forever. He says, can you send signed merch? Yeah, so that's one of the things the reason we're going to be switching things over is that we have the ability to do cool things like this. When someone says, hey, I purchased some RFMX, can you sign my shirt? Or can you sign my hoodie or whatever? Can you sign my hat? Yes, we will be doing that. So that's one of the things I'm excited to take control of the brand and be able to do cool stuff like that. So definitely we'll be doing anything. Anytime you guys buy merch or want something signed or anything like that, just DM me or email the info at Ronnie Faisst MX, and I'll see it. I check all my emails for the company, and then I'll make sure I get whatever you order signed if that's your request. All right. So let's see here. Just kind of scrolling. The big black guy channel. I said, "What's up, bro? What up? What up?" I thought it was my one buddy. The guy, he's looking yoked too, huh? We'll get him up here. Where's he at? He's looking shredded. Look at him. What up, dude? I thought you were my buddy from the gym back in Cali, because he has the same his IG is that big black guy. So that's who I thought it was at first when I looked at it. He used to train me. We used to get hard. We used to go hard. All right, so we got Tommy Shea here. Can I borrow 150 G's? No. Can you lend me 150 G's? You know how much you get for 150,000? A slip in a stone. All right, so we got Big Nate here. He says, when you were riding two strokes, were you your W? Shoot. When you were riding two strokes, were you your W? I don't know what that means, dude. Type in your question again. I think it doesn't make a misprint. Were you your if I'm just getting that old and I don't know what the little abbreviations stand for, like, were you your W? What is this W? I don't know. You know what that stands for?
Well, he did put it in later.
Oh, he did? Oh, I'm sorry. See, lucky wifey's here to correct me. I'm sorry, bro. Let me hook it up. Is it right here? All right, here it is. Let me get the real one up. See? Thank you for doing that. Oh, it says, when you were riding two strokes, were you your own mechanic?
But then just go up one, because there was one question before that.
Oh, okay. All right, Miss Francis. All right, I'm going to jump back up there. All right, so this is Big Nate. So when I was riding two stroke, was I my own mechanic? And did you feel like modern bikes have made the average rider worse at wrenching because the bikes are so reliable and refined now? Okay, so there was a time that when I rode two strokes, Big Feist was my mechanic all through my mini days. But then there did come a time when I was my privateer racing a pro class that I was my own mechanic. And then there came a time when I was excelling in my freestyle career that I had a full-on pro mechanic. But I recommend all riders learning how to work on your bike. if you understand your bike and you know how to work on your bike, it helps you to relay messages to whoever you're working with, whether it's your suspension guy, your motor guy, you know, if you have a mechanic, or if you're working with your dad or whoever you're working with. When you understand what the bike does and you know how to work on it and make changes, you can give people good feedback. Or if you just want to give yourself feedback and make those changes yourself. So I always think it's funny when people can't work on their bike. I'm like, really? Like, you don't know how to tighten your chain? Like, come on. So let me answer your question. So I recommend people working on it. And so when I was riding, so it was on and off, like I said, and then so has rent. I mean, I feel like some people like to work on bikes, and there's other people who don't. So I don't know if it's because of, I think the bikes are really good these days, and they're better now than ever. But you still got to do the basic prep. Like, don't overlook the basics. Don't overlook. You know, most people just jump on the bike and go ride and never check the tire pressure. Like, dude, check your tire pressure. Like, that makes such a big difference. The first point of contact from the bike to the dirt are your tires. And it's overlooked so much. But you know how much tire pressure plays into effect on racing? NASCAR, racing off-road trucks, racing motors, no different. Like, tire pressure makes a big difference. Check tire pressure. Check all your bolts. Tighten your chain. Change your filter. That's just basics. I do that before I go ride on a daily thing. I don't change my oil every single time I get on my bike, but every few rides, it starts to get dirty. I'll look for the little screen and start like, okay, let's swap that out, change the oil. But the basic bike prep is key. Like, at the end of the day, you're putting your confidence in that bike. So that's how I always look at it. Like, I always had to do flips and other stuff. So I'm going to make sure my bike is legit because I have to trust it. So when I'm going to flip, that thing ain't going to cut out, bog, spit, do something funky. So don't get on your bike and just put gas in it and ride it. Never change the filter, check the bolts and that stuff. You just ask them for something to break off and, she's coming back.
Yes, the one guy is your buddy from the gym.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
That was him?
He said, when you coming back to Cali?
Is that him, Darren? Yeah. Oh, I didn't know it was him. All right. Big D. I didn't know that was you. I just recognized that's funny. All right, I'm coming back, dude. I got to get in there with you again, bro. Show you I still got it. You see me holding it down. All right, so we got Big Nate. That's too funny. It says, when you were riding two strokes. Oh, wait, I just went to the wrong question. Sorry. I had that one up. I was looking for Francis. Here's Francis right here. All right, sorry. All right, it says, it says, what year was it when Neil broke his leg? Was that jump on Krusty 1? All right, so Francis has to be from Jersey to know who Neil is. So Neil, everybody said, who's Neil? Neil was my best friend that I grew up with back in New Jersey. Super good racer. Battle with him all the time as a mini rider. But I took off to California. I tried to talk him into going with me, and he didn't come. But I got out to California first. I was out there for a year, maybe even 2 years, and then he finally came out and tried to make the move. But right when he got out there, we were filming. We were actually at Tommy Lee's house. It was me, Neil, and Hart and Sink Mars. And we were at Tommy Lee's house, and we built this jump kind of in his backyard. We were jumping over him. It was in Krusty 1. And I think his crash is in there. He like wadded up and broke both his legs, tib and fib. I think he compound fractured them. It was bad. So I don't know what year that was, to be honest with you. I moved out in 1997. So 98, 99. I would say around 99, 2000 the latest. It would have to be because it was a few years after I lived out there. But it was a bummer deal. It kind of messed up his whole riding after that. Okay, so I got Nate Dogg, hit him. All right, let me get Brian up here. He says, I'm rebuilding my 1999 KX250 into a Supermoto. I was going to send my suspension to Factory Connection. Thoughts? I think Factory Connection's fine. They do a lot of guys. I think they did like Potter stuff on his freestyle bike, and I never heard him complain about his suspension ever. So, and to be honest with you, now that I think about it, Factory Connection, I'm 100% sure. My mechanic, Tony Jetski, he has he changed his name to his company. It was Jetski Customs. He came from Factory Connection, and my bikes were legit. So I would say Factory Connection is a safe place to be at for a suspension setting for sure. And Tony's new, if you guys are looking, if you guys are from the Northwest and you're looking for a good mechanic, because he does run a small shop, I don't believe it's Jetski Customs anymore. I think it's just called, Dang, I can't even give him a good shout out because he changed it on Instagram. Factory something. Factory jet ski. Sorry, Tony boy. Can't remember the name of your company. All right, I'm just looking for some. Dude, look at Curtis here. He's looking shredded too. What's up with all you dudes looking yoked? Making me feel out of shape. All right, let's get Curtis up here. Look at him. Beast mode right here. He says, do you incorporate any physical program into your moto coaching? Just had an ACL done last month. Trying to stay involved while recovering. As a fitness dude, you are definitely a fitness pro. I can tell by that picture. He says, I want to train in the moto scene. So most of my classes, the RFMX classes are really geared around just riding. I haven't done anything off the bike yet. So we just focus on the basics. But when I was training, obviously the big black man's on here. I mean, Darren used to I trained serious my whole career. I always was into fitness and always trained really hard. And did both my ACLs, so totally can relate to that. As it was a 6-month recovery. I did both of mine. I did them 2 years apart, or 3 years apart, because I blew out my ACL. Very next year, I broke my femur, and the very next year after that, I blew out my ACL. So I had done both of those. But so I'm feeling you on the ACL recovery. Like I said, it was a 6-month recovery. I would just say just take the 6 months, because I know multiple guys. I'm gonna tell you this: you're probably, because you're in fit, dude. You're like definitely in shape. By 4 months, you're going to feel like you're 100%, and you're going to want to go back to doing everything you can do because you feel like it. But the doctor, I don't know if you did a patella cup or hamstring tendon. I did a cadaver on both of mine, and the issue is at 4 months, even though you're full mobility, you feel strong, you feel like you're ready to go, the ligament, the tendon or the graft, wherever you took it from, has not developed long enough back onto the bone. So it's really easy to tear back off at the 4-month mark, even though you feel like you could compete. And I know multiple guys who did come back at Bilco many times, came back at the 4-month mark and ripped it right back off and started over on the whole process. So I always recommend, like, especially on ligaments, because they're just so tender. Like, take your time, take your 6 months, let that thing get healed. You'll come back 100%, dude. Like it'll feel like you never did it. The only thing that I've noticed from my ACLs is deep knee bends. Like if I just try to squat, I get some pain in my knee. But other than that, jogging's a little not my favorite thing to do. I would way rather cycle, but other than that, dude, you should be fine. But I'm open to, my wife's always telling me that. She's like, you need to do some fitness programs, because it fits with moto. Moto is one of the toughest sports out there. It's super, super physical and demanding. So all moto guys have to train at some point. So maybe down the road, we'll kind of start to branch off and have some fitness stuff for moto guys. But right now, it's just RFMX is just focusing on the fundamentals of riding techniques. Okay, so we got Brian here. Oh, sweet. I saw the question mark, so I just said it. He says, thanks for the info. You got it, homie. That's why we do this. We do this just to try to give you guys some answers to questions and be helpful, Share what I've learned through the journey, being in the moto scene. Man, my whole life, and been racing dirt bikes since I was 9 years old. Been riding dirt bikes since I was 8 years old. And I was actually thinking, I started trying to think about motivating myself and trying to go. I was like, maybe I should just start racing, not every weekend, but I'm like, maybe I'll pick a race this fall and just say, hey, I'm going to race that weekend and set a goal, because I've always been driven by having goals. And I'm like, you know what? If I had a goal, I would probably train harder. I'd probably ride a little bit more focused and a little bit more intentional rather than I cruise. Like if you ever see me out at the track, I'm on cruise control, yes, because I want to go home in one piece. I'm cruising. I don't ride at 100%. I ride at 75, and I still get pumped up real fast. If I rode at 100%, my tongue would be dragging quick. But I was like, maybe I'll race a couple 40 plus classes here at the local track. So I've been thinking about it, making a small little comeback, trying to get in better shape. I don't think I'm in shape at all. So I've been trying to cycle a lot more now. Like I said, I need to get a little bit more focused on the track. I don't have 6 strong laps in me, to be honest with you. I don't. I'm tired quick. But I think if I set that goal, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to race that race weekend. Now I'm like, okay, now I'm going to be a little bit more intentional about going out and putting in, making sure I can get the 6 laps strong. It's just small little fun going, trying to go set the world on fire. But I do, if I'm going to go race, I want to win. I want to go out there and try to win the 40 plus. So that's what I'm saying. I'm getting up there. Been in, like I said, started 8, 40, what am I now? 43. Be in the 45 plus class pretty soon. But thinking about hitting some local races up. Just for the fun of it. Big Feist said he had those 80s dialed. That's too funny. He says, all right, so he says, do you think, so this is my buddy Rockstar, then we got BMF. He says, do you think riding a 450 back in your glory freestyle days? Do you think riding a 450 back in your glory freestyle days being on a 250 trip would have made you better? I know that. So he's basically saying, do I think riding, back in like the prime of my career, if I was on a 450 4-stroke versus a 2-stroke, would it have been better for me? That's actually a good question. Because when I did switch, I did like it better. But I would say this, because it was easier. The 450 made everything easier. Like the 250 2-stroke, you had to be on the gas around, like when we had those big X Games dirt courses and there was huge, 100-foot jumps, the run-ins weren't that big. So you'd have to come cranking out of the corner and be wide open to get over this big jump. So we'd slide in the tracks were never like real good traction. They were slippery. So it made it hard to make some of the jumps. And then when we transitioned to the 450, it was like twice the motor. So you'd come out and you can track on a 450. You don't have to just dump it. Like I said, you can let that thing lug and track up to the jump. So it was just easier to get over the jumps. And then I think one of our biggest worries amongst the guys when we were thinking about switching to 450s is we were like, oh man, it's a heavier bike. It's going to be hard to flip. All of us were tripping on that. We're like, 252 strokes light. We can yank it. It comes around and flips really easy. And then come to find out, first day, every single one of us got on the 450 and went to do a flip. We all over-rotated, not to the point of crashing, but just came in front end high and over-rotated the 450, and we were all blown away. The 450 actually flips easier than a 250 2-stroke. Being a heavier bike, it didn't. So what? Even though it's heavier, the reason why it flipped easier is it has more torque, and once that bike flicks off the ramp and at the extra weight starts that initial whop. That momentum, that weight makes it's more momentum. It's more torque and a faster aggressive spin coming off the ramp. So it actually spun faster. So you didn't have to pull as hard. You could come off the ramp a little bit more relaxed and pull a little bit less and come in. So the 450 made it, in my opinion, easier to jump, easier to flip. So I think I definitely don't think it would have been a bad bike to be on in the prime of my career. But I would say this, 4-strokes weren't a thing when I was growing up as a racer. Like I raced 125 East Coast Supercross Series on a stock 125. And when the 4-strokes came into the scene, I would say like, man, like, I wish I would have had a chance to ride a 4-stroke when I was a racer on a Supercross track, because it makes everything easier. Riding a 125 2-stroke versus a 250 4-stroke on a Supercross track, way easier to get through the rhythm sections and over the triples. And I never had a chance to do that because I raced when the 125 class was around. So, but V-Dub, Big Fights in the house, yeah. All right, I'm gonna make sure I didn't skip anybody. But I know the part of that question why I was just kind of scrolling said, would it have made you better? I think a good rider should be able to transition from bike to bike. You should be able to get on a 250 2-stroke and ride. You should be able to get on a 450 4-stroke. You should be able to rotate from bike to bike and make adjustments. And I think having the ability to ride different things makes you a better rider. All right, so Mel's asking where Curtis is located, so make sure you hit Mel up. All right, so we got, I'm seeing Hanson's name, and I'm seeing God. So let's get to this one. Here we got Justin. He says, how did you struggle, or what were your struggles when you first started walking with God? And he says, what got you into church, and Was it Josh Hansen? No. So I love Hansen. He's one of the homies. I was actually just FaceTiming him the other day. So if it wasn't Josh Hansen, actually it was no rider that influenced me to start seeking God. I actually went on my own personal journey and just started watching a guy on TV, ended up getting a Bible, started reading the Bible for myself, ended up going to a local church, and then, gave my life to the Lord, fell in love with Jesus, fell in love with the Word, and, God has done what he's done in the last 10 plus years in my life. So it was really a personal journey and a personal experience that I seeked out on my own. But as I went on to that journey and I started dabbling in it, I would tell people, hey, kind of been watching this guy, and then I'd talk to Deegan about it, and Deegan was like talking to a pastor. So it was like, and I knew Nate Adams, so like, a little bit of people, opening up to talking about what my journey was. But it wasn't no like rider that influenced me to become a Christian. But how long did you struggle, and what were your struggles when you first started walking? I think my biggest struggles in the beginning was just to not stumble and sin. Like I was, is this? Oh, I thought it locked up. I think I was just so used to, the crowd of people I hung out with. We rode together, we trained together, we partied together, and it was hard to like pull back and be like, okay, I'm a Christian now, I probably shouldn't be going. Everyone's going to go out after the event. Everybody's going to start partying. Everyone's going to end up at a strip club. Like, probably shouldn't do this. So then it was like this little tug of war of trying to figure out, like, okay, how do I, like, figure it out? And I, blew it a gazillion times along the way. But, I kept just, there was, like, a real desire in my heart that I'm actually, like, I actually want to be faithful. Like, I'm like, I love God. Like, God's cool. Like, I, like, love this Bible. I love what he's done. I love who he is. Like, I want to be faithful, but God, help me to stop stumbling. And so it was girls, it was alcohol, it was party life, it was a whole lot of things. And I just kind of fumbled through it a million times and kept on repenting and kept sticking with it. And as I grew as a believer, here's the thing, this is where I think where a shift comes. Like if you genuinely seek God, you'll find God, 100%. That's what the Bible says, and I know it for a fact because I have my own experience, and I have a lot of other friends who weren't believers who have their own experience. So I know if you seek out God, you'll find him. And as you seek him and he reveals himself to you, it's when you actually start to genuinely love him that you realize that you love him more better than all the other stuff that's usually clutter in your life or just kind of like causing you to stumble. That's kind of where I went. As I like just started to really love God, I'm like, man, I love God. Like there was that love of my love for God made me want to say no to that and yes to him and to be obedient. So I just say, it's really that journey in your own personal journey as you seek God and he reveals himself to you and you just begin to love who he is and love what he's done that you eventually just go like, you know what? I don't even want that no more. And you'll just kind of naturally, like God does it in you. It's like God does something in here and then when things change here, it eventually plays itself out in your life. But loving God is the key to obedience. And it's true though, because Jesus said that. Jesus said, if you love me, you'll obey my commandments. And I can honestly say the more I fell in love with him, the more obedient I desired to be. Okay, so we got Kobe here. It says, how often would you have your two-stroke ends, the top ends rebuilt back in the day? So that's a good question too. Here's the deal. If I ever had a major event, always. At the X Games was coming up, Dude Tour was coming up, like a big event, Tony always rebuilt my bike. So we always had a fresh end in for them. And same thing as a racer. Even big fights, give big fights a shout out. We were going to Loretta Lynn's, we were going down to the regionals. If there was a big race, we had a fresh top end in the bike. But as far as just like riding my practice bike, man, that is a good question. It's been so long ago since I've been on a two-stroke. But Tony was really good at staying up on top. So he would, I wish I could just be like this many hours, but I don't know off the top of my head. But I would just say like every 2 to 3 months, we were throwing in a top end into the practice bike. And I rode, you got to think, and this is through my freestyle career. Freestyle is not like moto. So you don't beat the bike. Moto, and you're just out there. Whoa. So you might want to change them more than what I was doing. You got to remember freestyles. We would ride for hour, 2 hours max in the morning, and then maybe sneak out in the afternoon, do another hour session here and there. So you don't kill the bike like you do your race practice bike, because your race practice bike gets hours on it and you're wide open during those whole hours. Freestyle bikes like bro, and then coast back, bro. So it's like you can probably ride a freestyle bike much longer on a top end than you could a practice bike that you would be using out at the practice track. But these days, dude, you could probably honestly, you probably could Google how many hours to change it to, and then put a little hour meter on your bike and just do it what it recommends. And you never can go wrong, following what your manual says. Hey, change your top end at so many hours, a little bit sooner. Just be ahead of the game so you don't run into a problem. All right, Anthony here. He says, I'm a vet rider, and I go to the track, and practice, and I hit all the big jumps. He says, but on race day, I get too nervous, and I don't jump them. What can I do for more race day confidence? That's a good question, and that's interesting that you can jump them on practice, but then on race day, you don't jump them. That's a mental thing, dude. That's all mental. So I think you just need to just go jump it. Like, make yourself jump it on race day. First practice, if you've been to that practice track and you've already jumped those jumps, you know you can jump those jumps. So as you just said, I'm cool in practice, but when the race comes, I tense up and get nervous. So I think you need to break the ice. You can do it. If you can do it in practice, you can do it on race day. So show up the next day and send everything. Like, you go out for your practice runs, do your 1 lap warm-up, 2 lap. By the 3rd lap, be clicking off every single jump out there. If you know the track well enough, like some tracks you know so good you can jump everything in first lap. But by the 2nd, 3rd lap, start hitting all the jumps. And just know when that gate drops, be committed. It's all right here. Everything that I'm reading is right here. It has nothing to do with your ability. You have the ability to do it. Your bike can handle it. You can handle it. It's just a mental thing. Just commit. That's your goal for the next week, is I'm jumping everything that I jump on practice day, I'm jumping on race day. And when the gate jumps, go for it. Just send it and hit all the jumps. You can do it. I believe in you 100%, dude. Because that's what, and then this is what you're going to do. You're going to go out there and hit them all on race day, and you're going to be like, why wasn't I doing that for months? Because it's so funny. Sometimes you'll like look at this section or a jump, and you're like, man, that looks kind of gnarly. You get a little intimidated, and you're like, huh. And then you go hit it, and you're like, dude, that was so easy. Like, what was I tripping on? So sometimes just trust in your abilities, trust in your skills, trust in God, trust in your skills, and go out there and do what you can do. All right, I'm looking. We're getting we got three minutes here. Let me see. All right, so let's get this. He says, have you ever been snowmobiling or snow biking in the mountains? So yes. So this is you, dude. Yes. Before I raced that race in Winter X Games on the snow bikes, I did go out to Timbersled, to the company that sponsored me. They were in Idaho. So I went to Idaho and I rode backcountry, and it was seriously one of the funnest things I've ever did. Like, snow bikes in the backcountry are sick. I've never rode snowmobiles, but I rode snow bikes in the backcountry. Way more fun than the racetrack, because I had so much fun that I was like confident that I was going to go to X Games and like get a medal the first day I rode the snow bike. And then I had to go qualify at this qualifier in Minnesota, and I showed up there, and there was dudes who like do this all the time, these Canadian dudes, and they were ripping on the track. And I got out there, and the track was way different than the backcountry. Backcountry's all powder. The thing like glides through the snow all fluffy. And then you get on the track, and it's all packed down. Well, the ski starts to like track weird, and like the bike wants to dart out, and it's way harder to ride on the packed down snow than the soft fluffy stuff. So I was like, dude, I like went to like thinking I was gonna medal to. I was like, man, I hope I qualify. I was like, this is gonna be way harder than I thought. But we made it in, and we did the best we could. I got tired up there though in that altitude. You want to be a fast racer if you're gonna do snow bikes. Definitely not a retired freestyle guy, because retired freestyle guys don't have stamina. You need stamina to last. It was a 30-lap race in Aspen at high altitude. And I was retired. I raced trucks for 2 years before I took that invitation. So I wasn't even like nowhere near prepared. It was still fun. All right, so we'll get a couple more in here. So we got We got the one who endures. He says, always good to see you, my friend. Are you into street bikes or Harleys? All right, so yeah, I had a custom built chopper back in the day. So I do like street bikes and I do like Harleys. I just know that they're very, very dangerous. Recently, just had a close friend pass away. Also, even when me and Mel were out in California, we saw a guy get hit right in front of us. Dude pulled out, and so be careful. I do love those. I love motorcycles. I'm a motorcycle guy. I love motorcycles. But people are not looking for us. They're not looking for you. They're too busy on their phones, too late. So be careful on the road. You got to ride. If you're going to be on the road, you got to ride defensive. Like, be looking for the side streets, and just don't pin it down the street and think everybody's looking for you, because that's not the case. So I do like them. I don't have any right now. I don't even think my wife will let me even get one at this point, just because of recent things that had happened. But I do like street bikes. All right, so let's see. All right, we're at 8 now, so we'll take this one, and if I see another one, maybe take one more. So we got Brian here. Says, how bad do you miss the California hills? So I miss Cali for sure. The hills are always good, but it's cool. Like, so I think it'll be fun. The hills are the best in the winter. So right now I'm thinking like the hills kind of suck. It would be sucky right now because it's the middle of the summer. But I do miss Cali. What I miss about Cali, one, I think the weather is always, you can't beat warm weather all the time. But I think it's just my friends. At the end of the day, I miss my friends more than anything. But this is what we're kind of planning on doing, which I think is going to be a good little balance for this winter, because I haven't did this in the past winters that I lived in the Midwest. So RFMX will be doing California schools throughout the winter months. So we'll basically we got September class coming, October, possibly November, depending on weather, and then it'll switch. Then it'll go December, January, February, March will all be in California. And I'll be probably going to do 2 back-to-back when I'm out there. I'll probably do one on Friday and one on Saturday. And I only take 4 riders a day on the California classes because I had to do them on a private track. So I think that'll be cool when it's really cold and crabby here and you can't ride, to actually be able to go back to California during those winter months and do 2 classes, see all my friends, get to ride all the tracks. And that's actually the best time to go hit the California hills. So looking forward to that, because I do miss it for sure. All right, we'll hit Eric Davis here, and then we'll wrap it up. Let you guys get back to your Wednesday night. He says, "Are you gonna keep our tradition of getting Chick-fil-A after RFMX class?" Yes. You're up though. I bought last time, so you're up. Mel's coming in to say bye. But yes, me and Eric, after we do the RFMX classes, always swing by Chick-fil-A and eat those awesome chicken sandwiches.
Matt had a question.
Is Matt on here?
This is right.
My boy?
Yeah. Matt.
Where?
He's like right. It's something about breathing techniques.
Where's he at? I don't see him. Where you at, Matt? I'm trying to look for your question.
He says, do you have certain breathing techniques
I do.
you try to use while riding and especially racing?
Yes.
Just tell him about that.
All right. I wanted to put your name up there so everybody could see you, but I don't see it on this. I don't know why I don't see you. So yeah, breathing's key for sure. If you're not breathing, you're going to get tired and you're going to pump up way faster. So you have to breathe. You need air. You need oxygen to your brain. You need oxygen to your muscles. So breathing technique is key. If you go out and go for a jog, how do you breathe? Or this is how I breathe. If I ride on my road bike, I do the same thing. I breathe in my nose, out my mouth. In my nose, out my mouth. In my nose, it's kind of, even as a martial artist, and when you're hitting the mitts, you're always breathing. I do. You're breathing, right? You have to breathe. If you can master to where you're like a machine, that's key. But that's a very hard technique on a dirt bike, to get it to where you can go in the mouth, or in the nose, out the mouth, in the nose, like a full-on machine. Same as if you were on the jog, same if you were on a road bike. Try to master that technique around the motocross track. Way harder. So a good way to start to learn how to do it is, speed and styles or Supercross tracks easier because you have so much rhythm, but find spots where you know you're going to breathe. If there's a big old tabletop, that's going to be a big gas, and then you're going down the next straightaway, and then that next little kicker, take one there. Coming out of the corner, the rhythm section, every time you take off and then land. So then that's why it's easier on Supercross or Arena Cross to learn the rhythm, because you're constantly going, whoa, whoa, whoa. So every time you go up, land, up, land, and you use the rhythm as almost a pattern for your breathing. So I used to train on my speed and style track like that to learn the rhythm through the rhythm section. But to just get started, because breathing is, in my opinion, it's a technique and it must be mastered, and it has to be done. You have to think about it, and if you're not thinking about it, you're holding your breath. You have to learn how to think about it until you thought about it so much and tried it so much that it's natural and you no longer can think about it. So that's only learned through repetition. So you're gonna have to do it over and over again. But easy way to start, like what I said, find places on the track. So when you go out the track and you're eyeing up before you go out moto, you're gonna go, okay, big tabletop here, rhythm section here, big sweeper here. Maybe I'm gonna get in 2 big breaths on that, and pick those spots and make sure you're catching big breaths. And then in between, just start to try to catch that little pattern of in the mouth, out, or in the nose, out the mouth, in the nose, out the mouth. So that's how I do it. But to this day, because I haven't been training to race, I've raced, the last time I trained to actually race was not counting 2016 Winter X Games, because I just won it at that one. But my last X Games I was taking serious with 2014. And I haven't trained to do it in that rhythm. And now I still catch myself today, Monday night, out on Green Valley, pinning it through the ruts and not breathing. And I would go, oh man, I'm not catching any breaths. And then I'd have to go, oh. So it's something that if you don't stay up on, you can easily lose. You have to constantly work that muscle. So it's definitely key though. And I know you're planning on going out to Loretta Lynn's in the future, you're going to have to for sure work on breathing techniques, because you're going to have 25 plus minute motos, 2 of them. In the humidity, it's going to be hot and hard. So sweet. All right, here he is here. Now I find it. Here, I'm getting you up. I just seen you. All right. Shout out to Big Matt. He was out there Monday with us, having some fun. So if you've seen any of the not the GoPro, but what are those things called? The drone shots. The drone shots from Green Valley were from Matt. He took all them, and those guys posted it. So a little shout out for the shots. All right, guys. Wrapping it up here. It's been an hour.
Thomas, who's from Nebraska, just put up the website for him to sign up for schools if he's interested in it. Just one more thing.
All right, so Mel's saying throw this up. So we got, just in case, if anybody's interested in signing up for the website, she said Thomas was maybe interested, go to ronniefeistmx.com. Get all the information you need about the schools. But thanks for hanging out here on Moto Monday this week on a Wednesday night. We'll be doing this again on next Monday. Get back on schedule here. So we're doing it 7 p.m. Central Time every Monday night, hanging out, talking about moto. And thank all you guys that are here week after week. If you guys are new, thanks for being here. Be sure to subscribe, thumbs up, the whole 9 yards. Leave some comments. You know how we do it. All right, guys. I'll see you next week. Peace out.